All right, this is a pop-up Bex tonight. Kind of have to do a short show tonight, but I want to be consistent and I want to do this every single time that I possibly can. Said it's going to be kind of a pop-up tonight. Let me get started and then we will another full day of news, huh? Never ends, my friends. It never ends. Just pumping my show up a little bit and then we will get started. All right. How's everybody's day going? Yeah, at 4. It seems like every time I pop on, it's like initially like 2 to 4. I've always wondered if it's like the same people. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right. What's going on in the news today? Let's see. Let's go down the list. Breaking from Wake Up America, the Bush family is reportedly planning to reclaim control of the Republican Party as soon as Trump's presidency ends. Not possible. I don't think that's going to happen. The New York Times, breaking news, a federal judge found that the presence of more than 2,000 National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. was unlawful. That process usually plays out the same. You got a federal judge blocking something. Well, but the appeal, I don't know what district this is specifically, but the appeal, the DC district, they'll probably uphold what the judge wrote, and then the Supreme Court will shoot it down in a couple of weeks. Yeah, not a surprise there. Right. Oh yeah. You know what? This is the big news of today. So last night there was this video where Democrats kind of went crazy. And they said, if you're in the military, you don't have to follow unlawful orders. So what do you think happened? Huh? Well, Trump lost his shit because it was like 8 senators. It was 8 members of Congress who basically said, well, we've been in the military, we've been in the CIA, if you get an order that you don't want to enforce, then you pretty much can commit insurrection, sedition, treason. It doesn't matter. So Trump went apeshit. He responded, seditionist behavior punishable by death. And that made everybody lose their shit today. The whole day it's been, Democrats, Epstein has become a footnote at this point. Nobody cares about it anymore except Thomas Massie. So the question is, has the president put your life and the lives of your colleagues in danger by accusing you of sedition punishable by death? And then she was in this video. She says, there's no other way to explain it than to say emphatically the president has put our lives in danger. Why the hell did you release that video then? You released the video where basically you said, if you're in the military, don't follow Trump's orders. Seriously, what was your angle with that video? Your video was basically like, okay, you don't have to, if you find that your orders from Trump are not what you believe, you can pretty much commit treason and say, no, I'm not going to follow the commander in chief. They knew exactly what they were doing. And now they're playing this, he wants to, you know what? Fuck it. If that's what they mean, then arrest them all. I don't know about the death penalty. That's a little too much, but Trump said that we were seditious and traitors and literally said that we should be hung. Well, you know what? Fuck around and find out. I'm not saying hanging is the answer. I don't want you hung. But some time in prison, it's just ridiculous. ridiculous. The hell were you expecting? You know, if you're in the military, I was in the CIA, I was in the Air Force, I worked for the FBI. And you know what? If you feel like your order is unlawful, the Constitution protects you. You don't have to follow through. Why would you post that? Like, what in your mind thought that was a good idea? Of course, the president is going to react the way he does. He's Trump. People are dumb, man. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, another gem. Trump is threatening death to lawmakers he doesn't agree with. Read that again. Forget our video. And then they twist it. Democratic reps. Hey, military, remember to obey the Constitution and your oath. So basically, your interpretation of the Constitution, your interpretation is so basically you have to be a partisan hack. And if it goes against our party and what our party believes, it's going against democracy, it's going against the Constitution. Fuck you. You know exactly what you were doing with that video. Exactly. Bingo. They knew exactly what they were doing. We're in the middle of a color revolution. Exactly. This is a test for the Trump administration and the Department of War. They're going to fight back or let the communists continue to push the revolution further without repercussions. Jason Crow, Mark Kelly, it's the same old clowns, you know. Surprised, I don't think Chris Murphy was, but Chris Murphy's another one. It's just the same old crap, you know. Soros, what is, you know, and he wrote, this is how it happens. A president calls for his critics in Congress to be executed, and the people try to wave it away. This is how democracies fall and open societies fracture. Fuck you. No patriot should accept this. No American should look away. And I responded, you're the one behind this, buddy. You are bankrolling the color revolution. Don't play dumb. And also, we aren't a true democracy. Clandestine. The Dems are concerned about future orders that Trump is about to give to the U.S. military, but they refuse to specify exactly what those orders might be. The Dems know something is coming, and they are terrified of what it is. That is possible. It is possible that there is something coming. But I would that's where QAnon kind of steps in. I mean, unless, yeah, I don't know. It does seem like the Democrats on their side are trying to create a color revolution, you know. Just like that, Epstein became a footnote. Bingo. Yep. Here's one of the clowns in the video, Chris Deluzio. Today, Donald Trump called for my death arrest. He doesn't want us to hear a basic lesson. The oath of the Constitution comes above all. That wasn't it. You know, and I wrote, you know exactly what you were doing with that video. You did. You knew exactly what you were doing. Skyly Urich, whoever the hell that is. Working in activism in every corner needed, continuing the fight for democracy. Oh, God, democracy. That's code word for fucking communist revolution talk right there. Democracy. Yeah, to be ruled by the majority. They warned us about that 250 years ago. You should read on the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Donald. It's a soldier's duty to disobey an unlawful order, no matter who it comes from. The law was passed down from our founding fathers. Well, they didn't like democracy, so read into that a little bit. To ensure our military upholds its oath to the Constitution, not a king. Yeah. What orders have been unlawful? They never answer that question, ever. It's ridiculous. Goodlander, she was in the video about, know about this, President Trump. I love our Constitution, and I will never give up the ship. I'm curious how all this is going to play out. I really am. Where do we go from here? Oh, Caitlin Collins, of course. She's gonna have Mark Kelly on there. CCP Mark Kelly, my wife, Gabby Giffords, nearly lost her life in an act of political violence. Words have consequences, especially when they come from the President of the United States. How did you feel about that with Charlie Kirk, Mark? Did you think those people should lose their jobs for saying that crap? I bet not. It's only good when we do it, right? That's the difference between you guys. The right just writes it out. The left actually pulls out the gun and pulls the trigger. What Trump said this morning, that my colleagues and I should be put to death, is dangerous exaggeration. We can disagree fiercely and say what we think without resorting to stoking violence. Unfortunately, we've seen that at every turn, Donald Trump looks for opportunities to divide us. Do you feel that way about Obama? Big Mike? Huh? Everything is a strong Bellows responds. Everything is a performance with you shameless freaks. The U.S. Senate must censure the 47th president. Thank you for your service. Yeah, nothing's going to happen. He is dangerous, and Republicans need to agree to remove him. Like the last 10 years that you've put up crap to get him removed. It's getting tiresome. If this happened in 2016, it would be a whole, well, wait, 2017, it would have been a whole totally different story. They probably would have tried to remove him. But I mean, this card has been played so many times with the Democrats. And like that, Epstein is a footnote, isn't it? Let me try to boost this one more time. Let's see. Call it treason talk. Yeah, Caitlin is just going to be like, oh, I remember when she got smoked 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when Trump went on and basically embarrassed the hell out of her. I mean, we've got a weak Republican Party that does nothing, and we have a Democratic Party that's pretty much bordering treason right now. Yeah, you know what? This is another example of what I call Trump's incendiary common sense tactic. He saw the liberal media was ignoring this absurd call for the military to disobey orders, so he said something over the top to draw attention to it. It's undefeated. Interesting. But I mean, it goes beyond the video. It goes like these No King paid marches. This is going to intensify next year and then the year after that. But there's a point where what are they going to do in 2028? You know, he can't run again. I mean, it really comes down to this. It's a chess match at this point. The Democrats have no power. They have no enforcement arm. So there's nothing they can do until next year. But even at that, if they're going to impeach him. It's just a question of how many times at this point. I'm thinking 4. There's going to be 4 attempts, but they're not going to have 67 senators to convict. They want him gone. They want him gone quick. And, I expect next year there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 times the amount of marches. But there's a question of like, what does Trump do? There's going to be a point where he like hits that line where he's like, okay, do I keep things going the way they're going, or do I see my country about to be taken over by socialists and communists? And do I need to do something about it, even if it goes beyond the law? That's what we're all wondering is, at what moment is he going to be the thing that they fear, the king? When is he going to say, okay, insurrection clause? The Democratic Party is in an active insurrection. These judges are in an act of insurrection. And then that's where that line, when you cross that line, it gets dangerous because, you know, the one thing he has going for him is our citizen, our population is not one for, unless they're paid, they're not one to protest and go to the streets. There might be a little bit of that, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this all plays out. You know, this could just be saber rattling again, but the Democrats are like unhinged, clandestine again. Look at them squirm. Now, Representative Jason Crow is backtracking his comments earlier and claims that Democrats are not telling service members to disobey orders. Fuck, you know exactly what you were doing in that video. It's like, imagine this. Imagine me putting a video up on YouTube and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, saying, hey guys, you're in the military, but wink, wink, you don't have to follow all of your orders, wink, wink. So if your gut tells you that this isn't the right thing, wink, wink, going against democratic policies, wink, wink, you don't have to follow President Trump's orders. And treason, wink, wink, is okay. That's basically what the fuck they did. Get out of here. Trump was right to call him out. My goodness. Where does this lead, though? You know, where does this lead? What's the next step in this? Is it just the news and it's just going to blow over the next time something else happens? Probably. Hakeem Jeffries, Dollar General Obama. Donald Trump should keep his reckless mouth shut. Epstein has become a footnote, guys. Democrats were taking too much heat, so they needed to do something to get their people's eyes off it. Matt Walsh, you stupid idiot. Most disappointing flip-flop of all time. President Trump does not want to execute members of Congress. I don't know if I'd be right in that. Anyways, what else is in the news? Dick Cheney funeral today. Don't care. I mean, besides that, just seems like it's more of the same. Oh yeah, this Sheila Sharifis McCormick claims she was indicted because she was black. This is the lady that mismanaged the FEMA funds. Actually, you were indicted because a grand jury determined that you stole $5 million of COVID relief funds. I'm so sick of these race baiting liberals. You knew that was going to be the play. Yeah, we all did. Rashida Tlaib, the fact that this is even a headline. Trump does not want to execute members of Congress. Terry Moran, this clown from ABC. The president is calling for the death of members of Congress. Oh my God. Pramila Jayapal says the Trump administration has an obligation to consult with Congress on refugee admissions. Today, they ignored that requirement, even as they slash refugee admissions to their lowest levels in our country's history. And that's a problem. That was Pramila Jayapal. Yeah, it seems like it's been kind of a. It's like all these Democrats post that video and now they go to CNN and all these like MSNBC or MS Now or whatever it's called now. And just, it's like this guy, Christopher PA, what's his name? Chris Deluzio. This is a moment where Republicans and others should be coming together to condemn the president's call for violence against me and other members of Congress. Well, you shouldn't have put out that video, you dumbass. Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump is the worst president of the United States for America's children. He is giving them as a gift a $600 billion increase in the national debt for them to pay off. You had no hand in that? Oh, Lawrence O'Donnell, Mr. Epstein is Watergate. Trump doesn't care about anti-Semitism. The basis of his attack on universities is a lie. This is about the Coast Guard. This is according to Washington Post, but I guess the Trump administration said that the Post is exaggerating. U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify the swastika, nooses, and Confederate flags as hate symbols. I don't think this is necessarily. So this is their statement. The claims that the U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas, nooses, or other extremist imagery as prohibited symbols are false. These symbols have been and remain prohibited in the Coast Guard per policy. Any display, use, or promotion of such symbols as always will be thoroughly investigated and severely punished. The Coast Guard remains unwavering in its commitment to fostering a safe, respectful, and professional workspace. Symbols such as swastikas, nooses, and other extremist or racist imagery violate our core values and are treated with the seriousness. Yeah, Post is always taking things out of context. I mean, it's like after 10 years of this shit, do you think they keep doing it again and again and again and again and again? Man, oh man. What a day. Oh my God. Joe Walsh with his No Kings icon. This morning, the President of the United States publicly called for the execution of 6 members of Congress. Donald Trump must be removed from office, as they said every year. He's clear and present danger to this country. They've said that every year. Right now, every year. Invoke the 25th Amendment. They say that every year, or impeach and convict him. He's an immediate danger to this country. He must be removed from office today. Yeah. Breaking: DOJ to investigate Dems who called for insurrection. Good. No lawmakers above the law. And nothing will happen except the letter. And Republicans don't arrest people. Ever. And if they do, a judge throws it out. It's just, that's the way it is. Democrat Al Green: we could not allow anything to get in the way of impeachment, conviction, and removal. That's what it is about. And he basically said that's the goal of his party this midterms is Trump's removal. Yeah, it is mutiny what they did today. What a joke. Yeah, Democrats always go after billionaires, but they never bring up BlackRock, Soros, Fink, Hoffman, the World Economic Forum, or the UN. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up. It's going to be a really short show today. I just wanted to just kind of do something. Probably a short show tomorrow too, but that's the news. Trump TDS times 20. All right, until tomorrow. Good night.